Mute the mic here for a minute and just do some audio tests. All right, I think we've got that audio at a good level now. So just going online for a little while here to see if there's anyone who has any questions about how school discipline is handled. What do we do about bullying? When do we suspend? Why do we suspend? What's the difference between a suspension and an expulsion? Or is there a difference between an expulsion and a recommendation for expulsion? These are all typical questions. Another thing that comes up all the time is the question about, well, my kid's going to defend themselves. So, what's self-defense? And why would my kid get in trouble if they're just defending themselves? I'll tell you the answer to that one is because they often don't know the difference between fighting back or engaging equally in a fight and self-defense, because they are different things. Self-defense doesn't just mean that you get to kick some other kid's ass. Self-defense means you can do what it takes to get out of the situation. It doesn't give you free rein to injure another person. It doesn't give you free rein to try to injure another person. It means you can get physical if you have to get away. It doesn't mean it's okay to fight. Yeah, that part's pretty straightforward. So yeah, a K-12 school administrator. I am currently a vice principal at a large high school campus. I say large, there are larger. We've got about 2,200 kids. I've heard of schools, I've seen schools go up to like 5,000 students. In my view, the ideal would be that high schools don't go over about 1,200 kids. I feel like one test is that if you can't get all of your students into your meeting spaces, whether that's the main gym or the auditorium or someplace, then it's too big, because you need to be able to address all of your students at once. You need to be able to have a rally that everyone can attend. So let's find something here besides just the bumper music there. Let's see if we can get some royalty-free music going here. And please, anyone, feel free to jump in and let me know if this music is too loud, if it's annoying you. I think maybe we've got the levels good. I'm going to try checking it again. Yeah, I can see how we can go down just a little bit more. changed my background to gray because the topic doesn't seem particularly fun or exciting. I mean, it can be interesting, but I felt like gray suited it more. This is my new thing. I've been trying to do different colors to kind of indicate what I'm doing. Like if I were doing Korean lessons right now, we'd have this background. And if I were just online, just having fun and opening the floor to anything, we'd be doing this background. If I was doing legislative or budgetary updates, I would run with this background. It's just my ideas there, my silly ideas. Now, if we were getting a little more techy, I might go this route. A little more newsy, I might go that route. A little more coding, robotics. And yay, comments. Yeah, the storage thing on the phone can be a pain. Have you gone through, so the thing that usually jams up my phone the fastest is all of my photos and videos. The way that I combat that is I have them all backed up to Google Photos. So once I know that everything's backed up to Google Photos, you can actually from Google Photos say you want to clean up your device. It'll take everything off of your device, maintain the cloud storage, and you know, that's the biggest way that I get it, especially because when you're recording videos, especially if you're doing high quality videos, it's easy to fill up that storage space really fast. So Matt, how's the green screen looking? I was pleased to see you did well. You got a nice size. You know, with mine, which I guess I can show you this way. Turn that around. So with this one, mine, I got one of the bigger ones. I think it's, 6 feet wide? And even that, I found sometimes is not enough. I think like right now, with my camera, I can zoom all the way out and my green screen is still maintaining the whole background. But I also have to have my green screen pretty close to me to be able to do that. But yeah, I was worried because some of the more narrow green screens, it's hard to keep everything on there. Yeah, I know what you mean. No, it's scary. It's scary trusting that stuff has been backed up and deleting the files off of your device. I guess another way to do it. Here, let me show you this. This is one of my favorite devices. Here, I have a little double-sided, so regular USB on this side, USB-C on this side, so I can plug this flash disk right into my phone and then right into my computer. It makes backing things up, removing them from my device and putting them on my computer really easy. Well, what size did you end up getting? I think you sent me a link to it, but I didn't notice the size. And then curious to hear how it goes for you, because the next thing, like for my green screening, honestly, I've never done much of the green screening through the TikTok app. In fact, I'm not even sure I know how to use it. I'm doing mine purely through OBS on the software here, which I can show you here. This is what that looks like when I'm messing with my green screen settings. Let me free this up so I can move myself to the other side. There we go. So like, if I go into my Nikon setting here, and then it's in the filters. In these filters, this is where there's a chroma key and a color correction. If I turn off that chroma key, then you suddenly see my green screen behind me. I'm doing very little color correction, but you can tell that I'm just a little more pale if I don't do the color correction. But yeah, that's where my green screening is coming from. And of course, that's a little more dramatic when we do something like the globe behind me. Yeah, so now we can see that green screen's functioning well, and I can show you again if I just go into my main camera, right click on that and get my filters, and then I just turn off that chroma key, and now look at the difference. So basically you can see now that my camera is actually only this part of the screen. So now the only part of the globe background you can see is the part that's not covered by the camera image. But it's only with that chroma key on that we make all of that green just disappear. Yeah, 6 foot's a good size then. Yeah, the blackout curtains are important too. I ended up on my window. I can show you that. So on my window over there behind the lights, I actually have 2 layers of shades. I've got one shade that is just that's light filtering, so it lets some light through. I've got another shade behind it that is full-on blackout, so that I can completely control my light settings in the studio. The camera I'm using, well, that's where I've kind of got overkill here. So the camera I'm using is this. This is a Nikon Z30. And I've got it plugged into just permanent power, and got it plugged into HDMI there, which is going into a feed in my computer. Now, on the flip side, the camera I'm using that I just used to show you my camera is this camera. And I've got another camera set up right now so that I can do, like you may have seen the Korean video I just did, where I was doing some writing. And so for that one, I'm using this camera as like a document camera set up over my page, so that all I have to do is go in and switch over which one I have. So let's go to that scene, and now instead of looking at my left screen, let's turn that off. And now let's turn on the now I can show whatever it is I'm working on here. Just bring it up right there. So basically I've got 3 cameras set up right now. I've got one that is right here. I got it actually attached to my mic stand, working as a document camera. I've got one that is my main camera, and then I've got this one that is like my studio view, so that I can have my viewers able to see behind the scenes what's going on here. What do my lights look like? All of that stuff. Not a Nikon 330, but a Nikon Z, as in Zulu 30. So, yeah, so that main camera, that's my Nikon. I can't quite get it to focus there, can I? So Nikon Z30. Then this one here, I mean, it's a decent webcam. It's called a Nexigo. So that's a Nexigo. And then I've got the one that I'm holding in my hand is an AverMedia. So, you know, the two, not the Nikon. The Nikon's the only expensive one. Yes, the Z30. And I think, yeah. So, on my Amazon page in the content creator gear, I think I've got both of those linked. All right, yeah. See, I've got the Nikon Z30 here. So that's a $696 camera. Now the thing is, in order to use that with your computer, you have to have one more thing. Which is this, the Elgato Camlink 4K. So this is what my HDMI cable coming out of the Z30 is connected to. This device right here, which basically takes your HDMI output and converts it to a USB input. Lets you use that in whatever app you're using on your computer, and you know, from there, bam, your DSLR camera is then a webcam. Got some weird warning? Is YouTube warning you about me? Yeah, the Elgato Camlink is what you need with one of those DSLR cameras. But to be clear, you don't have to have that to get going. Now, let me show you this. I'll do this live right now. So let's go to the studio view. No, let's not go to the studio view yet. Let's go to this one, because what I want you to see is that I'm going to adjust my AverMedia camera in the studio view, and all I'm going to do is go into filters, and I'm going to add a chroma key. And let's see if it works just right off the bat. Sometimes you have to adjust the color of your chroma key. No, I think that's going to work. There we go. All right, so what I wanted you to see here, and you can kind of see them side by side this way, is, so in the big image in the background, you're seeing the AverMedia, just regular old webcam. In the smaller image, down on the bottom right, you're seeing what my Nikon is giving. So I think you can tell that that image in the lower right is a much better, much higher quality image. Here, let's try that. But there's nothing inherently wrong with the webcam image. And so when you're just getting started, and like you just started to work with your green screen and figure all that out, I don't want anyone to feel like you've got to go spending $700, $800 on your DSLR and your Elgato Cam Link. Uh, you can do it with just a regular USB webcam. You can get started. To me, that's not the critical piece. I'd worry first about having the green screen, about having my microphone, and then the rest can come later. Because honestly, there are there are also some other tricky things um, about working with setting up your DSLR camera. There's some menu settings in the camera you got to tweak, and I couldn't even tell you what they are now because it took a while to work through them and work it out. Let's try turning this off for a minute. Are you still getting snapping and popping in the audio? What about now? And I wonder. Well, first of all, one thing I just noticed is I need to turn off the mic on that new webcam that I just added. I also need to go back in now and turn off the green screen on it, the chroma key. There we go. Yeah, I think the reason it did it when I did the double video is because at that point I had not disabled the microphone on this one. So what you were likely getting was the crossover of two different microphones. And one or both of them maybe was picking up a little bit of audio from my Ray-Bans too, because I'm doing my monitor with that, but I've learned to turn the volume down a lot on it, so I don't think it's crossing over too much anymore. But guessing that took care of it now. If there's a way to multi-stream from here, you've got a good question. I guess, so number one, there's a setting over here that is necessary to use when I'm streaming to the TikTok app, which is to turn on this virtual camera. So I've just turned it on. Then I would have to go and open the TikTok app. I don't know what it's going to do if I try to do that. But we're going to find out. Okay, so there we've got the TikTok app up in that window. And now okay, let's try it. I don't know. See, what I'm worried about is that I'm now going to have two apps who are fighting over the audio feed. But Matt, you could really help me by telling me if this works. So the TikTok app is telling me that we're live on TikTok. It looks to me like we're still going on YouTube also. How's that for an endless mirror infinity view there? All right, I'm seeing your messages there on TikTok. Hey, well, thanks for helping me push the envelope there. So we are now live streaming to 2 platforms. We're live streaming to both TikTok and YouTube. For any of you who haven't already followed me on both, you can get me on both platforms by searching for @GenExplorer. No E in front of Explorer, just GenXplorer. So yeah, and this is pretty much an unstructured live right now. It kind of started out as an Ask an Administrator live, but we've kind of turned it into more of a techie, how do you stream to 2 platforms? How do we get all of the equipment going with our studio views, our different screen shares, our different cameras? But yeah, here we are. Anyone on either TikTok or YouTube, any questions? Yeah, I agree. I agree, Matt. When I go live on TikTok, I get engagement. When I go live on YouTube, I get almost none. But then again, on TikTok, I'm close to 15,000 followers. On YouTube, I've got, I think, 213 subscribers. So I got to take that into account. That's a major difference. But honestly, I think there are more people watching TikTok. I don't know. I haven't looked at the numbers. Oh, I wonder. I think there's a reason for that. Let me turn on the multi-guest. Yeah, you should be able to do it now, Matt. There we go. Can you hear me, Matt?
Yeah, I don't know how my audio is. I'm in a room with 2 fans blowing, so my dog doesn't hear fireworks in the distance.
It doesn't sound bad.
I got that mic right to my mouth, so hopefully I can't hear myself at all, which is funny. I mean, I can hear myself talking, but not into my headset. Weird.
Yeah. I
Better.
It's interesting. I can do the monitor and hear myself when I set it up with my Ray-Bans in I guess it works better on it works better on TikTok. When I try to do that monitoring on YouTube, I end up with a delay. But yeah, so you've got your green screen out of the box, and did you get the ceiling mount, or did you get just the pull up from the floor version?
No, pull up from the floor. I can't
Yeah.
do this now. That's why I was looking at the more expensive one, because it looked even more sturdy, and then there was just a better price for the Elgato.
Yeah.
I wanted to go the other one, but I bought the Elgato because I really don't know when would be able to do all this. There's just too much going on in my life right now to take this whole.
Well, the Elgato is really versatile, and I found it to be surprisingly sturdy. You know, it's really easy up and down. If you do want to button it up and take it with you somewhere, you can.
Yeah, it looks like a carrying case, but it looks long. I mean, you'd have to have like a decent sized car.
Yeah, that's true. So you're not exactly going to take it like traveling on a plane with you or something.
I'm just beginning to fight here. I mean, I just again, like I have a long way to go. I still have to get 1,000 people on this account, and my other two accounts are banned from live streaming, which is again another weakness for this app. You know, there's no way to appeal. There's no time limit. There's no
Mm-hmm.
sentence you can serve and then get your live stream back. So it's bizarre.
Yeah. Well, I can see you're about halfway there.
Yeah, and like I said, I was on YouTube, and it was like it just said something about community guidelines and protect your privacy. It jumped in there. I was like, wow. Well, I don't even know what I said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and community guidelines violations. It really is baffling. I just did a report the other day, and the answer came back today, no violation. And it was a video where the audio was all about basically telling a certain ethnicity to go back to their country,
Oh my god.
and it was completely outrageous because, well, let's just say, I mean, you can. It was straight up racist.
Right. Well, it's funny. I was trying to put up one of my clips. I have like one real stand-up clip, and it's taken me forever to even figure out how to do it. I think I know exactly. I screen recorded it off YouTube, and I was gonna upload it on TikTok tonight, and then I just didn't have enough storage to complete that process, right? And just
Yeah.
and I put up an older video from last year where I was comparing Sam Altman to Willy Wonka, because that's not what TikTok didn't give me that on this day. So I just happened to find it. I was like, I want to put that clip back up.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Stuff's going on with the algorithm still too. Um, and to me, the time where things like changed in a major way was just as that vote was made to go ahead and try to force a sale of TikTok. After that, my video views have just really dwindled a lot, and it's interesting because it doesn't seem to matter how prolific I am. I can post 3, 4, 5, 6 videos a day, include the what do you call it, the my
hashtag.
day stuff.
This
Yeah.
is my fear, is that they're putting us into an age group, and they're just sending us out to a certain age group, and there's not that many people of our age on this app. So that's my fear. You know, that
Mm-hmm.
you're not even getting a full swing. That's why like I said, I don't know what's next for us, but this algorithm or whatever's happening is definitely bizarre. But again, there's still no other platform like it, like that you can just live stream and then have people randomly come into your live stream and come in as guests, which is
Right.
the way it's designed is really, it's well designed. There's nothing else. I mean, as far as I know, there's nothing else like it, where it brings in fresh people who might want to join your show and give you a different perspective, a different
Right.
age. Right. That's the interesting part. I still, TikTok is pretty, to me, packaged at this point. You don't get a lot of like different creators. It all feels very the same. It doesn't feel different. But I think having real live streams, that's the beauty of this, right? And then you can build an audience. I don't know how people build audiences on YouTube. I don't even, because I watch and I'm like, I don't. There's no organic people coming through. So how are you building an audience?
Right. And I'm torn. I really wonder, like you say, is the algorithm throttling us, or is it simply that we're not putting out the kind of content that really is really desired by the audiences out there? And I guess that's one of the things that has me trying to start do some more variety of stuff. I mean, as much fun as I've been having doing all of the Korean language videos, I don't feel like they're getting me anywhere, despite the fact that I feel like, hey, I'm putting up stuff with really good video quality. I've been putting up the horizontal video. We were hearing that was a thing, that TikTok was trying to push that, and I've tried uploading from my desktop and uploading from my phone, and there doesn't really seem to be a difference.
Right. I mean, I have a long way to go with that too. My lighting has always been bad. Like I said, I have soft boxes I've never used. I've never set up. I see all your lights. I have no lights set up. So I barely remember to bring my TikTok, like with me to, if I go out. So
Mm-hmm.
I know that a lot of it's my problem. I don't edit. You got to cut out all the dead, all the dead space when you do stuff. You have to make it sharper. And I get it, but I'm not there yet. And again, as you know, eventually, hopefully, AI will be able to do all that for me. So that's what I'm hanging on to.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I've just finally gotten to the point where I can go from recording a video to throwing it into the Adobe editing software, doing like you're talking about, chopping it up a little bit, taking out some of the dead air, putting in some transitions and some titles, and and I can do it without, basically start to finish a video might take me 20 minutes or so. And whereas it used to be trying to go from start to finished product, I'd be there for 2 or 3 hours.
Well, here's a crazy story I'll tell you. Is last night I had an idea for a TikTok, and again, like I feel like I'm a 20-year-old kid because like my idea was to do a Terminator sort of spoof of one of the speeches from the movie, and I just changed the and this I'm not gonna blow up your show, but I'm just gonna change the word from Terminator to Netanyahu, and
Mm-hmm.
so I was working with ChatGPT to write the script and to work on the TikTok. And then
Yeah.
like a couple of things I said about I was doing scripting. It was like, yeah, that's not appropriate. What you just said, you really can't say that. That's not. So it will censor you. Like I
So
said
so
things that
ChatGPT was reining you in.
yeah, it was wild. It was
Well,
wild.
ChatGPT it really is a good thought partner, and I I continue to be dumbfounded at how much of the population doesn't have their eyes on the ball when it comes to AI. People
It's
just it's the same thing we saw during the pandemic. People have such a strong urge for things to not change, for things to just go back to normal. They don't adapt well.
Well, again, I don't mean to blow up your show. I'd always be careful, but like when you think of guys like health gurus right now, like Brecca and Huberman, they always seem very Puritan. Like they won't mention the benefits of other activities
Mm-hmm.
that I won't say on your app. They'll never talk about that. And so like I'm always and then I just saw a guy talking about how AI is going to cause more loneliness because more men are going to have relationships with AI. And I'm like, man, if that's your worry, really, I mean, maybe it's just because people can't find people intelligent enough to conversate. They
Mm-hmm.
just they just came out with a study that says that ChatGPT's social intelligence is now higher than most psychologists.
Oh yeah.
And I hope I'm saying that right. But again, you know where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
That ChatGPT is just going to be vastly superior in every single way. So I don't think anybody's ready for it. I'm really shocked with this latest update. I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting to have video where like I get too excited. Like I see video. I'm like, okay, now this is gonna be able to help me in every way. Like it'll be help my studio, right? If I'm hoping like it will tell you how to set up the studio. It'll tell you how to organize your
Mm-hmm.
light. If it, because now ChatGPT has eyes. I mean that's I mean incredible. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, it really is like having an entire team of professionals working for you.
As
And
long as it's free.
yeah, and to have access to any one of them at any time, and all you got to do is ask. Just know how to phrase your question.
I mean, it's funny. So I have three iPhones because my strategy is crazy. So I told you this that when I first got onto TikTok, I was like, all right, I want to do three different accounts. I had like 6 or 7 accounts, but I wanted to do a progressive account. I wanted to do
Mm-hmm.
a comedian account. I wanted to do a account about my dog. I wanted to do an account about sports because I wanted to see which would pop off, right? And now it's like I have three phones where I have ChatGPT access whenever I want it. Like so, if I can leave it around the house, I just have ChatGPT with me almost all the time. Now
Mm-hmm.
today I barely used it, but I mean, last night I talked to ChatGPT working on that script that I might never use for like 2 hours. Like we worked on this script together for like 2 hours. trying to write the spoof, and then I was like, am I gonna really record this ridiculous spoof? You know. So we'll see. We'll see if I actually try to do it tonight.
Yeah, I'll be interested to hear how it goes.
I'm worried. It's gonna be like one of those two shots, you know. Like so, the spoof is that from the movie Terminator. I don't know if you remember, but when a guy comes back, he's like, what day is it?" And the guy's like, "It's May 12th, 1984." Well, Sam Altman was born April 22nd, 1985. So technically, in the spoof, I'm going back to tell Sam Altman's parents to not let him go to Stanford and to start working on AI much sooner because we're going to need it much sooner because of the, you know what, conflict
Mm-hmm.
that's going on right now. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the basis of the spoof. And again, like if it wasn't me talking to Chat GPT and like, you know, just spitballing it, going back and forth, I never would have known. I didn't know that, you know, and I have to be careful here, but again, I didn't know he dropped out of Stanford. I didn't know he was openly gay. I didn't know he's married. Like I didn't know any of those things about Sam Altman. So I was like, you know, I was like, whoa, that was really all very, very interesting stuff. So then I was like, all right, so the spoof will be you go back in time to get Sam Altman's parents to make sure that he doesn't go to college, he doesn't go to Stanford, and he starts working on AI 2 years earlier because we need to stop so and so, who at the time in 1984 was the Israeli ambassador
Mm-hmm.
and the U.S. embassy of it. So that's the gist of it. But again, it was really interesting when all I was doing was reading the actual script from the movie Terminator 1, and I said something at the end was like, and then you'll all be dead, and then it was like, ChatGPT was like, yeah, we can't, you know, that's a little bit too far. Let's
Mm-hmm.
be, you know, let's be respectful. I was like, oh man, like, all right, so that's really interesting that you have parameters.
I just heard today that OpenAI had two top executives quit, and what was it? That they are the guys who are responsible for imbuing AI or ChatGPT with human ethics and morals.
Yeah, and they don't give the reasoning behind it, right? They just broke up the team, the super alignment team.
Yeah. It's concerning if there's trouble in that realm, because that does seem like that's a pretty high priority, just like Isaac Asimov's laws of robotics about, you know, not harming human beings and not allowing a human being to be harmed, etc.
Yeah, that was funny because I was calling ChatGPT RoboCop last night. I was like, oh, so you have parameters? Okay, so you have rules you have to abide by. You can't just have free speech here. You got to, you know. I just
Mm-hmm.
crossed the line. Like, so, but I would say to you though, I'm also curious to know, like, is the competition for real? Can Google and all these other companies trying to actually compete with ChatGPT? Are they really going to take over? You know, ChatGPT.
I think they can. I think it's gonna be a horse race for a little while, but I worry that it's gonna ultimately be like one or two dominant AIs that no one can then catch up with.
I was so disappointed, man. When I downloaded that onto my laptop, I thought for sure I was getting video. I didn't even get audio. You can't even talk to your ChatGPT on your computer yet. So
Mm-hmm.
again, I was like, oh, I always get that way. I'm like, oh my god, here we go. This is it. You know. So
Yeah, I've seen some people doing it with some kind of third-party apps or something, or maybe they're just running a like an Android or an iOS emulator on their desktop.
yeah, I often like. Sometimes I'm just like. So that's the other crazy thing, right? I don't know if you maybe you've seen this. Did you see? And again, I'm not sure. I think it's Google, where you're able to take your study notes and now make a podcast out of it with like, you know, so like it would be you'd have two other AI voices and like maybe you and you could do a podcast of whatever study notes and whatever topic you're studying
Oh wow, no, I
because
hadn't seen that.
that's another study method that some kids like to participate in. So now that's a possibility. Now again, when is that actually usable? I don't know, but that they demoed that at the last.
I have learned that ChatGPT can read handwriting, and so you can upload a handwritten document, and it'll read the whole thing.
think I've been able to use photographs again, but that always gets glitchy too, you know. So like sometimes I can upload it and sometimes I can't.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, this is good to know that I can multi-stream. I wish it was a little cleaner. I wish I wasn't having to do it out of two different apps, but it works.
I need a third stream.
Yeah.
Need to find maybe Twitch. Maybe Twitch will, you know.
Twitch, OBS might multi-stream to different platforms, and I know I've done Twitch out of OBS. Well, you know, why aren't we asking ChatGPT? That's what we should be doing right now.
Oh, that'd be wild.
Let's pull it over here.
As a guest, see?
Yeah. All right. Here we go. Let's do it this way. Let's get a nice big screen up there. Is it possible to multi-stream OBS? Yes. So use a streaming service like Restream.io, Streamlabs Prime, Caster, or you can get plugins that let you do it. Oh, you can do it. Okay. All right. You know, I think you make a great suggestion with multi-streaming, because just like we're talking about YouTube not really getting much engagement on streaming, whereas TikTok does. But if you're streaming to 3 or 4 platforms at a time, you're kind of covering your bases and helping each of those to build followers and engagement on the other. It's probably the way to go.
Everything helps.
And like last weekend, I started hitting live streaming on both YouTube and TikTok, but I was doing it separately, so that's twice the time.
Right.
What is the easiest way? Yeah. So it's basically suggesting the easiest way to go is Restream.io. One live stream, 30 plus destinations. Really, that's all it takes. I'm sure they charge something to be able to do this. There it is, pricing. There are the plans. Of course it's plans. $190 a year for standard, $490 a year for professional, $990 a year for premium.
And I feel like if you can just add Twitch, you're good. Like I don't think there's any other. I mean, eventually I think maybe X will be a player, obviously, but I don't think there's. Again, that's what I'm saying. It just blows my mind. I just don't think there's that much competition out there. You know, as far as no one's coming to take TikTok down, and
yeah,
to me it would be simple, right? It just doesn't seem like it's that complex.
I'm surprised to see that they actually do TikTok streaming. So that has me interested. I don't like that even the standard plan is, I know they say breaks down to $16 a month, but they charge you once a year, $190. And, you know, it's just so easy to stack up all of these subscriptions.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth it. I would just go Twitch. I would just stay where you are. I think TikTok's the only game in town. I really do. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but, you know, unless you try Twitch on your own and see if there's some sort of traffic, but.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Matt, I think I'm going to go ahead and log off for now. and work on getting this set up so that I can do it more consistently to multi stream.
Yeah, at least you got the multi-stream down now. At least you got two. Because I just don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, were it not for your suggestion, I never would have tried just opening up the TikTok app separately, and so that I'm basically I'm going out from the TikTok app and I'm going out from the OBS app, but the OBS app is also feeding my video to the TikTok app. Just thinking about the complexities of how that's all working, I'm shocked that it works. Hey there, Okie Fanny. Yeah, not a lot going on here. We started this stream out as a Ask an Educator, Ask an Administrator live stream, and then it turned more into a discussion about live streaming setups, microphones, cameras, lighting, green screens, and then we got into the multi-streaming discussion, and then we just, thanks to Matt, who's on here with us, and his suggestion, we managed to figure out that it is possible to multi-stream using a combination of OBS to go out to YouTube and OBS to do a virtual camera to the TikTok desktop app, and then simultaneously live stream from TikTok and YouTube. Yeah, that's all that's been going on. Usually when I put up the pink background now, that just means like the floor is open for whatever. But with that, hey John, sorry to be running just as you got here, but I'm going to go ahead and jump off for now. I may be on again tonight, and thanks to Matt, I'm going to be doing some more. Nothing in the agenda yet next time. You got any suggestions? I'm open. Yeah. Message me. Let me know if you got any suggestions, and we'll see about doing that. All right.
Like if you could see the hard part for you, right, is like the hard part for anybody is who do you bring on as a guest? Who's safe to bring on as a guest? Like you have to again vet everybody you bring on, because if they say something, then your community guidelines. So it's almost like you want to put in the back of you, like, would you like to join the conversation? Because then people may jump in, but then you're probably going to get, I don't know, who.
Yeah, I mean, I think best practice has got to be like knowing in advance who your guests are going to be, even possibly coordinating with them a little bit, doing a little pre-show meeting. But then, we also want the authenticity and the unexpected nature of it. I mean, that's the fun of being live, right?
Yeah, that's the shame. That's the shame of like that's where I told you. I don't know, the last time we talked, or 2 times we talked, that that freedom has to be there. Like, there's no app yet now where you can just take a chance. Like, there's too much on community guidelines, so you can't just bring somebody on and the conversation might get heated and they might say something wrong. That's not a thing. This doesn't exist. It's so bizarre.
Yeah. I'm going to answer John's question here. He's asking how we do the guest at the bottom and me at the top. So I guess there are 2 parts to it, John. First of all, I'm using the Windows desktop app to do my TikTok streaming here. Yeah, I do have the infinite loop going there. But when I set up my live, I chose the horizontal configuration for my video. So instead of doing like typical phone video, top to bottom, vertical, I chose the wide. I think that's what's making the multi-guest appear at the bottom. The other piece, of course, is just going to that multi-guest button up here and turning on the multi-guest. When you turn it on, you can choose. I think see, like here we can do the layout change here. So yeah, and what it's saying there is that I don't have any options for layout since I'm in landscape mode. If I'm in landscape mode, it's got to be this way. Yeah. All right. Now let's hit the outro music button. Thank you, Matt, for joining again. John, thank you for engaging in the comments. Oki, thank you too for being in here and engaging in the comments. I'll catch you guys soon and do a longer live next time.